say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Power After Hours. I'm your host, Jeff J. Chrissy Bree is with me, too, here to recap Season 4, Episode 3, The Kind of Man You Are. Chrissy, what's up?
What's good?
We getting deep into this case. We getting into this DNA talk, into this Fed sweep talk. Like, it's a lot going on. What did you think of this episode, just overall, first off?
The crazy thing is as I was watching this episode, I was kind of starting to get a little bit bored, but the end is what made me say, okay, I understand what they're doing. It's all making sense to me. I just felt like it was kind of a lot of repetitive stuff that they keep bringing up. And I'm like, we heard this last time. Like, we can recap this in an episode. Like, you don't have to spend a whole episode on this, I guess is my thing. But I understand what they're doing with it when it got to the end. But yeah, I hope they're not going to spend all season with Ghost in jail. I'm getting tired of it already. Is that bad?
Well, I mean, it's you. It's not bad. It's you. You have that opinion. I like them being in jail just because it's a change of pace from what we've seen before. But I really don't know if they should string it along as long as they're doing it. I understand the concept of real time and it going along and whatever the have you, and us feeling the pain, the agony, and just seeing him go through it episode by episode. But to me, by episode 6, we should have some type of closure on this one way or another. Because that's or episode 5. Shit, what is that? 2 episodes from now? Mm-hmm. So that way you have the whole rest of the season to figure out fallout. That would just be me. But I think it's still interesting because we're getting different stuff now. It's not just drugs. It's not just relationships. You're getting the litigation aspect of the show. So that's been keeping me interested. As I said before, I've said it since we started the season. I love Law and Order when it's on. I still watch episodes to this day. The original Law and Order, and I like seeing that. I like seeing that whole process. But I do agree at some point they gotta wrap it up. But they're going hard. They're going hard with it in terms of advancing. Where that scene where they start off real frantic with wrangling Dre, Julio, and Keisha. I like that scene. I like who they paired up. The different people that they paired him up with. Like you had Sax with Julio, Sandoval with Dre, and Keisha and Angela, which was the real contentious part of that scene. Ooh. Where they're all just to me, it's funny. I feel like the prosecution was kind of grasping at straws. Like I don't know what they were trying to get, asking what they already knew to see if these guys would break, I guess, or give them information that they could use. But Dre and Julio were on it. They were on it. They told their own personal stories of how Ghost rescued them from the streets and got them out of the life they were in to join up with him and get into the life in a different way. But they just didn't know that. But just in terms of painting that picture of James St. Patrick that he wants out there and wants people to believe. Keisha and Angela is a totally different story, which, anybody who might have been rooting for Angela to take a turn in terms of public opinion, she went right back to Angelaing again. By the way, it was 2 different sides. You had Sax being Sax, typical asshole, calling Julio Julio.
He's such a dick.
And he's doing it on purpose, which I like. He's like needling people. But Angela, she's how audacious do you have to be to ask the best friend of the woman who you were having an affair with, her husband, and ask her all the questions that she knows the answer to already. And to me, Keisha was like the voice of the audience, saying, yeah, bitch, you slept with a man. We wouldn't be here in season 4 if it wasn't for you doing the dumb shit that you were doing.
No, she was just like straight up, bro. Like, you know the answer to these. Why are you asking me these questions? But then I understood why Angela was doing it, because if you're trying to break spousal privilege, the person you would need to go to would be the best friend, right? Because you assume that Tasha is telling her best friend everything, and once I feel like she tried to break her with the whole, she pawned her wedding ring off, and Keisha was like, oh, she had that look on her face like she didn't know that.
Right.
So that was Angela trying to break her in terms of letting her know that your friend is not really your friend type shit. It didn't really work. Keisha's still loyal, but she said too much, and it could help them break the spousal privilege by what she was saying, because at that point she's making it seem like, well, Ghost and Tasha were not really together because of you. He was sleeping on the couch. He was, you know what I mean? So she got that, and she got what she needed out of her, basically.
Right. And it made you understood why she was doing it, and why she was needling him for why she was needling Keisha for that, because she wanted her to break that spousal privilege, or to give them something so that they can use that threat of the breaking that privilege in order for Ghost to make a deal to flip on Tommy. Now, just watching chatter on social media and everybody talking and discussing the stuff and discussing the pros and cons of the show and Power in general, it was one thing that I saw that was brought up that is funny. Lawyer Twitter is having a field day with Power this season. Right? Yo, you want to talk about reacting? Yo, it's crazy. One thing that I saw that, and I thought about it in the back of my mind, but I try not to get into plot hole, go down the plot hole rabbit hole, because that way, I try to watch the show at a high level, but recapping it and really jumping into it, you gotta look at it from a lower level too. The thought that they would trade a cop killer for a drug dealer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In what world would a drug kingpin supersede a cop killer, a federal agent killer, regardless of if he was a mole or not? Regardless, you killed a cop.
You're not going to get off from killing a cop.
Right.
They'll kill you before they let you go.
Exactly. Anywhere. Take a look at what's been going on in the country for the last, pick a decade, any decade. Mm-hmm. Like, when would the DA's office say, you know what? We have enough evidence on this dude that we are confident we can get a conviction out of him. But you know what? Yo, let's just go with the drug dealer. I think we really want Tommy. We really want Tommy, but we're going to settle for Tommy if he could cut a deal. You cut a deal with a cop killer to get a drug. Like, I understand people's frustration with that. That's something to me that's indefensible. But why would you do that unless you're trying to play a mind game? But even then, if he cuts a deal, he's still going to get a reduced sentence for killing a cop.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I see why lawyer Twitter is up in arms, because that would never happen in the real world. But we also have to remember this is a TV show. Nothing is going to be perfect. A lot of this represents like soap opera to me, so it's never going to be what it would be in the real world, if that makes sense. So I don't really mind that aspect of it. I guess I'm not looking at it that seriously or that hard, so to speak, because I'm not a lawyer. Clearly don't have that degree. So it's not for me.
Right. But I think it's more so the frustration of general knowledge as a lawyer. Like general stuff.
That I get.
Like in a vacuum, even as sensationalized as Power may be, in a vacuum, why would you go for that deal? Unless, and I tend to try to think what the writers' room are thinking, and a lot of the writers' rooms for shows now are on Twitter or on social media, all different types, giving their rationales in real time while the show is going on. Unless Knox, being the mole, kind of took away his right to be looked at as 100% a cop because he was dirty. Like, yeah, you killed a cop, but we also know that he was allegedly a mole for Lobo, so that would make him a criminal. So
That
if
would
they
make
could
him a
get
dirty cop.
right,
Yeah,
you
okay.
killed a dirty cop, but you still killed a cop. But if you get Tommy, who they think is Ghost, and you get Tommy, you get the new Lobos, who inherited Lobos's empire, so you could take down the organization that turned Knox bad and whom James killed. That's the only rationale I could think. Just thinking about it now, that's the only rationale I could think of to say why you would make a deal with a cop killer to try to get a drug king. Just the nature of he would have been the mole for Lobos.
Well, that's where, and I think that's where Bailey comes into play. I don't know if you guys remember Bailey from, I think it was was it last season? Is Greg's
Bailey
mentor.
Markham, the private eye that
Yeah,
Greg had off the books.
exactly. So he's back now, and his main job, is I've been able to see so far, is that he wants to clear Greg's name as the mole. And if he is able to do that, then I don't think the deal. I don't think, because the way you're saying is that if Greg is the mole, then that would be the thing. So if he's able to clear Greg's name, then I don't think that works. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Then if they still keep pushing for him to flip, then it's a problem. You know.
Right. And you see that Markham, he only cares about clearing Greg
That's all he
and
wants.
getting justice for his death. Which is why he's bringing up when he had that initial talk, because you could tell the character profile on John Mock, right? He's one of these attorneys who cares about the limelight and the spotlight, and he's trying to shine, and he's trying to be a celebrity DA. He may have future political aspirations, so he takes the high profile cases and he wants to get justice served, but it's subordinate to him looking his stardom.
Good.
And him looking glorious in the eyes of the public. So that's why he was talking to Markham, and he's just saying, "Yo, we're trying to get Ghost. And Greg is the mole, but this is what we're really trying to get. He's trying to catch a big fish one way or another, and is trying to get Markham. He's trying to sway Markham to give him whatever they have in order to do that. But
Then that's not going to happen.
right.
He's not backing down.
And Markham is bringing up all the stuff that Greg found out from last season. The fact that he believes Angela is the mole because of all the stuff that was happening with Ghost. The fact that he called Sandoval the night that he got killed.
Yeah, because he said, "Why did he call you?"
Right. He called Sandoval. He had Angela, and then he had the wiretap, the illegal wiretap of Tommy admitting that he killed Lobos with Ghost.
Yeah.
So he brought all that evidence and said, "Yo, how could he collect all of this stuff and have everything and still be the mole?" But you don't care about clearing, and you don't care about exonerating him. You care about conviction, either convicting James or getting quote unquote Ghost, who they think is Tommy. And I think with Mock, ironically enough, I think that Mock wants to get Tommy as opposed. He just wants to get somebody. He wants to get somebody, and he dances around all the time. It's almost as if he's trying to get one to get the other. But if he could really take down the crime syndicate, he'll be fine, because either way he'll look good. And Markham kind of sees through the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that Mock is just trying to get it one way or another, because Sachs went to Judge Tapper on the side to try to see hypothetically if the wiretap would be administered, all of that, and Tapper tells him to fuck off.
Yep.
So you could tell that they're trying to get whatever they're trying to get it however they get it, even to the point of, and then you have Sandoval, who's lurking, contacts Markham on the side and tries to make it seem like he wants to work with him to get justice for Greg.
Which I think, honestly, was Sandoval's dumbest move. And this is my reason being.
Okay.
Bailey's not stupid. You understand what I'm saying? He reads people very well. And I think him coming to Sandoval coming to Bailey is only putting him in Bailey's radar, because you see the moment he got up from that table, what did Bailey do? He pulled up Sandoval's information. So he already is starting to think that something is not right. Because seriously, why did Greg call you? Greg wouldn't have called him to tell him that Angela was the fucking mole unless he had concrete proof. He
Right.
needed to have concrete proof. So I think that Bailey, what's going to end up happening, honestly, Angela and Bailey will probably end up figuring this whole thing out, and they are going to hand that case over to Proctor. I really think at the end of the day, Angela is going to be the one that clears Jamie. I've been saying that from the beginning, but I think that Sandoval's dumbest move was putting himself in the rear view of Bailey, because now Bailey's looking at you. He's looking at you. Sandoval's making a lot of dumb mistakes, and it's going to catch up to him.
Right. You could tell that Markham isn't trusting anybody. When he was looking at the file, I said, okay, he's woke enough to know not to trust him. Because if you think about it, the minute I bring up that he called you and you don't say anything in the meeting, then you want to contact me and meet me. And you see they met in a bar. So he's not trying to meet you on the side. He met in the bar, so he's just trying to read him out. So I think he's woke enough to know, all right, I can't meet with this dude secretly. I got to keep my wits about him. We got to keep it in public places, but I'm going to keep him at arm's length while I'm still investigating and still trying to figure it out, because he knows.
Yeah,
he knows.
Why are you trying to get so much information off of me right now? Why are you pushing me to get information? He's probably like, yo, that's why he didn't give him the information in that meeting, because he knows something is not right. Like he is gonna figure out who killed his boy. I can tell you that right now. He's not gonna stop until Greg is exonerated and they figure out what happened to him in that room. If it is Jamie, that's cool. But at the end of the day, Bailey's job is gonna be for him personally to figure out who murdered his friend.
He's not gonna be stopped. The only question is he going to make it in time to see that go down? Is he going to make it? Who knows? But I figure with all the information he has, someone's gonna get it somehow. He either has to try to stay alive long enough or make sure that he has some type of backup plan. Because I like I said before, I think that he's aware, and that's the most important thing for his character, to stay alive.
Agreed.
What'd you think of the scene where Angela meets with Ghost in the jail and is telling him about the spousal privilege?
If she don't get her ass on, I am so tired of her. I am just so, every time. If you are the good man that I once, shut up. Just shut up, bitch. Shut up. We are in this situation because of you. The more she opens her mouth, like, I know you can hear it in my voice, like I'm getting angry. She just makes me so sick to my stomach. Her character is so disgusting because she tries to make it seem like she cares, but at the end of the day, she really just wants him to rot in hell for killing Greg. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
She's not even looking. If she would open her eyes and take away all the bullshit that she thinks that, you know what I mean? She would see it's right in front of her face. The truth is right there. And that's what, Jamie said to her. I'm not sloppy. That's not me. Think. Like, come on, like, what's wrong with you? Like, and to put in his head about his kids and stuff like that, your kids will be in the system. Don't do that to him. He's already in jail. He's already suffering. He doesn't need that from you. Of all people, you are the last person he needs to hear that from. If anybody needs to tell him to take the deal, it's Tasha.
Right. And you could see, I like the character Terry Silver, the second chair that Proctor hired, because this dude is the quintessential opportunist. Like, this is the dude. I like his character because his character gives you the perspective that I feel a lot of people who aren't attorneys want to know about defense attorneys who take cases of people who are clearly guilty. Like, where's your moral compass in that? How do you feel personally? Is it a job? Do you fight with yourself over it? Like, what is that perspective? And this dude, he's coming in and all he's about is the job. It's like, yo, I don't care. Even to the point where when he first meets Ghost, and Ghost is like, yo, I didn't do it. And he's like, yeah, I don't care if you didn't do it or not. My job is to get you off.
Yep.
I just have to get you acquitted. Like, that's my job, and I'm gonna do it. And him not knowing the dynamic between Proctor and Ghost and Tommy, I feel like he knows something is funny with them, but once again, he's locked in on the job to the point where he keeps pushing for them to take the deal. And saying, like, you're not going to get any of the deal. There's no way he gets out of this. You know it and I know it. You're a bad lawyer, basically, if you're not telling him what I'm telling you. And you're so hell bent on him being innocent that you can't see the forest from the trees, and you're not using sane, rational thought with this. Right. He's telling them that, even to the point where Proctor presents it like, yo, this may be it. Unless we could figure it out and try to get, try to find something that we can hold on to get you acquitted, you may have to seriously consider this. Then we get the DNA.
I like his character because he's real like that. He does keep it 100% real in every aspect. I think that, I don't know if he'll ever figure out what is going on between the whole Proctor, Tommy, James/Ghost thing. I do know that I agree with you. He knows something is dirty. He knows something's not right because he keeps questioning Proctor, but Proctor's giving him like these real glossed over answers. I mean, he even tells Proctor, you need to recuse yourself. You know that you can't take this case because you were Tommy's lawyer.
Right.
This doesn't, you should not be sitting in on this case. And he was like, what are you talking? Like, Proctor knows, like, for his own sanity, he has to stay on this case. Otherwise, they have the information about him and the drugs and his wife. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he has to stay and do what he needs to do. I don't know that Silver will ever really figure it out, but I think for him, he just needs to get James acquitted. Whatever happens between him and Proctor will probably happen after the fact.
And I think that goes back to the whole point that people were making about the lawyers being smart. I think he's the smartest lawyer on the show.
By far.
In terms of
making sure to tell us that too.
in terms of rational, competent thought, because he's the focal point of the title of the episode, The Kind of Man You Are. Because since season 1, episode 1, Ghost has been putting on this facade about who he is. Yep. He's a businessman. He's trying to go legit. Wanted to get out the drug game, and he's using the drug. Was in the drug game. Saw the legit money. Want to get out, but he always has one foot out and one foot in, and he's painting himself to be legit by the book businessman who came up from humble beginnings. But in essence, just like Silver told him, looked at his jumper and said, this is who you are, brother. This is who you are. You don't got to try to sell it to me.
Yeah, he tried to play. He was like, look, you grew up in education and all this stuff. And he was like, it's not about that. It's not about, pretty much he read Ghost to a T. He said everything to him that Tommy was trying to convey to him all last season. You are not James St. Patrick, my dude. Your name is Ghost. Right. Period. As much as you try to act like you are James St. Patrick, you will never be that man because of what you are. You are Ghost. We all know it. We all have seen it. Even when you try to slip and be this real businessman, something brings you back to the man you used to be. Be honest with. And honestly, if you ask me, the only way he gets out of this is if he is Ghost. He has to put his head down and start figuring out what happened. Put things together. Like, he's so lost right now in terms of who he is. He's got his family that he's messed up with because Raina is like a complete mess. Tariq don't care about nobody. And, it's Tasha could testify against him. We don't know, but that is on the table at this point. He doesn't really have his head on straight. But again, like I said about Angela, if he would just wipe away all the bullshit, sit and think for a second, he would get to the bottom of this. He has to just be who he is. Like, he read him the way we've all been saying forever now. And he just needs to stick to that. Just be Ghost, bro. Just be him.
Yeah, Terry isn't here for the BS. And I loved his point of saying, it isn't about my education. It isn't about my opportunity. It's about the core of who I am. Because you got dudes who have all that education. They're still crooks. They're just polished crooks. They're Harvard-educated crooks. They're Yale-educated crooks. They're Fortune 500 crooks. You have people who sell drugs who may just literally be doing it just to get out the hood, and that's not really who they are. And that's how he sees through them. And also with him, just just going through the procedures and looking at the case for what it is, and all the decisions that he's making are based on rational thought, and as a character, I think is based on what any competent lawyer, TV or real life, would do in that case. But to me, I don't know if you got that sense. It almost felt to me like he was reluctant to do anything that Proctor was saying in order to try to prove James was innocent. So you talk about the DNA. They've been trying to get the DNA thrown out, and it wasn't until Ghost brought up that, and I think we spoke about it last episode about the traffic stop.
Yes.
And how Greg that had to be the only way that his DNA got on him. Mm-hmm. And they work on it to the point where Silver gets the tape and the video evidence from the traffic cams of the stop, and also the part that Angela knew. So we get to that hearing where he presents that.
Good scene too,
right?
By the way. That scene was good.
He litigated that well. Like that's like a cool TV lawyer scene where he brings in, he talks about the DNA and everything. And at first the judge is telling him, okay, you could present your side of the case and we'll just do whatever. And he's like, no.
He's like, I got some more for
right.
you.
He said, oh, we're not done. We're not done. And then when he brings up the Angela point, I forgot that she did tell him about that.
Yep, she sure did.
I forgot, but they disregarded her.
Completely disregard. They all did. They were all like, it's not a big deal. Da, 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 da. And at the moment he brought up that Angela knew, you could see it in Angela's face. She was like, I told them motherfuckers, and they didn't listen to me. And she can't lie. She's not gonna be that's perjury. She's not gonna lie on the stand. So she has to tell the truth. And at that point, the judge gives Mock the option: either we present this to the jury and it will forever taint the jury, or we have to let go of this DNA evidence. Of course, Mock has to choose no DNA evidence, because if you tell the jury what you've done, they will never trust you again, and he will lose the case. So now they have no DNA evidence. That is completely off the table. And if you remember, it was actually the DNA evidence that kind of like got them the death penalty and all that stuff once they added that to the table. So now you're looking at a whole different scenario as to how they're going to try him in court. It's going to be very interesting.
Right. And shout out to Jerry Ferrara on Twitter. Did you see his post of him cheering? He's like, 1 down, 2 to go with the DNA evidence. He had like a celebratory, because he's on his honeymoon or whatever now. And he had like a celebratory cigar. He did an Instagram boomerang with him on Twitter talking shit about the case. And he's like, 1 down, 2 to go. And I was crying like, yo, they really be taking this joint serious. But
the actors on this show, you got to give them credit, man. Like I really, they are just true to their characters.
Super promoters.
Yeah,
super promoters. And
say what you want about 50, but he's done a damn good job.
Oh yeah, he's one of the driving forces, and it's been fun. It's been real fun.
Can we lead into his name or no?
Huh?
Can we lead into what he did or no?
Oh no, we going in. We going in. But the one thing about that whole seed, Angela was definitely me when someone asks you, well, why did you do that? And you know it's not your fault, and the person is there, and you just look at them like you want to tell them or me. It's like your older sibling does something, and your mom is talking to you, and you quiet, and you just looking at them like,
I know, like, you gonna fess up or no?
We dropping dime. You dropping dime or I'm dropping dime? She looked at Mock, and Mock was like, yo, I'm saying though, nah, ain't no I'm saying though, bro. Like you messed up, and he ends up putting her back on the case, which I feel is still asinine. Because why would you set yourself? You were the one who said that putting her on the case, given the fact that she's been involved with the victim and the alleged killer. But you're still going to put her on anyway. And even back to when we were talking about the lawyers making dubious decisions as it being a possible plot holes, Sachs was the one who initially was like, yo, we could tank Angela and get this too. Yeah, it may look bad, but we have to make it seem like we're completely just going for the case, and whoever got to fall.
Yeah, I think that in a way, he has to bring her back on. And this is my logic for on the writer's side of it as to why he has to bring her back on. Because as my theory is, Angela is going to be the one to figure all of this out. So now that she's back on, she's going to be presented with all of the information, everything that they're talking about. Something is going to trigger her. I am telling you, I firmly believe this. And it's going to be something that doesn't add up, that maybe even between her and Sandoval or Sandoval and Greg, something's going to be said that is a lie, and it's going to trigger her to really, really dig deep and figure out what is going on. The only way she can do that is if she's on the in with these guys. So I
Right.
think the writers had to kind of find a way to put her back on that case.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. It's just, it's just funny how it's like he's backtracking. To me, Mock only cares about the bottom line, and he doesn't care how he gets there. He's indirectly tanking this case because he has a vendetta with Proctor. He's not listening to the same reason that people have been calling plot holes and saying that that's what it is. He's not listening to it, and they're just completely belaying that. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, because even if she brings that information, they lose the case, because that's when the truth comes out. That's going to exonerate Ghost. So it's going to be real interesting where they go from there. What else? So Tariq is still doing his Kanan asshole training with this dude is
need to move him up on the list.
He might be like 1A with Angela right now on that list, because this dude, like, he's completely disillusioned with his life right now, with his father. You see him telling Tommy, like, yo, I don't trust him, I don't care what happens, this is all a lie, because this is what Kanan's been telling him the whole time. Yo, this is a lie, this is what it is. And you see, like, this dude completely snapped. He's roughing up bullies that mess with his sister. He's barking on his sister for basically calling her naive for believing anything. He's still hanging with Kanan. Do you
remember the scenes of Kanan and Tommy, like two seasons ago, when Kanan was trying to tell Tommy how shitty of a person Ghost was?
Right.
If you looked at Tommy's face when Tariq was saying all this stuff, it looked like Tommy was like, I heard this before, kind of thing. Tommy is like 2 steps away from figuring out that Slim is Kanan. I give it like maybe one more episode, maybe tops.
Yeah, he may have to dig a little bit deeper into it, but yeah, like this dude Tariq, like, I kind of had to commend him for setting up those bullies that been messing with him to get robbed by Kanan. Like, I'm not mad at that, but this dude is really running schemes right now, and I just wonder what Kanan's end game is. Like, is he trying to completely turn him into a criminal that he could control? Does he still want to kill him? Like, I don't know. It's like he's just really just taking him down the path, but to what ultimate end? Like, I know because he went from wanting to see Ghost suffer to just wanting money. Like, yo, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna ruin. Like, he wanted to ruin his life, but then instead of killing his son, he's like, yo, I could do even more. I could turn him against him and then do worse. But what would be the ultimate end game? What getting Tariq to kill his father?
Know. I feel maybe that's what he's setting him up to do. Maybe at the end of the season we're gonna see Tariq shoot Ghost. I don't know. You know what I mean? And we're gonna have to wonder all off season. Well, is Ghost dead? Is he alive? Who shot Ghost?
Right.
Type shit. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it's weird because I don't. A lot of it when it was with him and what's the old girl's name?
Raina.
The one who he was working with.
Jukebox, his cousin.
Right. Jukebox was the one that was really like hardcore, like we can destroy, like I just want this, I want that. Kanan, on the other hand, sometimes he just goes back to his hood ways. He's like, yo, I just need the money, I'm good, I don't need anything else. But Tariq, he's so far gone right now that I feel like whatever Kanan tells him to do, he will do it. And that is scary, if you ask me. That's scary. That's the scariest thing that could happen if you think about it, because what if he does say, hey, shoot your pops? Tariq will do it.
He's the dude with everything to lose who's acting like he has nothing to lose.
Fucking idiot, man. He's so stupid. Like
he's still a kid. He's still a teenager. He's an impressionable teenager. He's doing dumb teenager shit, and he's being swayed like a teenager. That doesn't change the level of stupidity it is. But if he doesn't rock with his dad like that anymore, if he once looked at him as a king and now looks at him as a crook, I get why you have a dude who because even he told Raina, like, yo, why is it that we've never been around where he grew up? Why is it that we only know about him from the time we were born on? We don't know anything about the past. Like, he's like, open your eyes, because that's what Kanan's been telling him. And he's looking at it like, yo, you had all of this stuff you hiding. I don't know who the real you is, but this dude does. And he seems like he cares more than you do. He give me all the lean I want. We do bad things. We chill. Like, you know, I don't care. Like, I can see why he's flipping. It doesn't change how stupid it is, but I can see why he's acting like that.
Yeah, he's got 1 foot off the ledge, if you ask me. Like,
Right.
I don't know, man. If he survives this season, I'll be shocked, to be honest. And I don't know. I don't. Tariq is a mess right now, and I do agree with you. He is a typical teenager, but at the same time, it's like, yo, how far is this gonna go? How far does this go for him?
Right. Right. So, recapping the case, the DNA is out. The gun, the murder weapon is still in play, and the fingerprint. Those are the 3 strongest things. I think the fingerprint is just the one that's going to hang, because this idiot had to take his gloves off to touch a glass. What he's creeping in a room, but the gun is going to be the one. If our camera theory comes out to play, then that they throw out the DNA, they throw out the gun. You can still say, why was he at the apartment? You know, then it gets to the decision, does he blow up his spot so that he can say why he was in there? Or, you know, is it too circumstantial? You know, it's crazy, but I could see the way the case is playing out for Ghost. And he has, with that DNA out, he has a way better chance than he did at episode 1.
Oh, yeah, far better chance.
So
I feel like everything is slowly crumbling for Mock.
Right.
They may have like maybe a small win coming at some point, but it's not going to be the win that they want.
Right. And I mean, they only have themselves to blame, because he wanted that big win and didn't want to listen to anybody. And shoot, he came on the case. He wanted to be big dog, and now he's seeing, like, you know, he's dealing with a lot more than he thought he was.
Good luck.
Right.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about the whole Tommy and Julio situation.
Oh yeah, no, I was getting to it, girl. I was getting to it.
You sound like you was wrapping up.
No. I was gonna say what else and then go into it.
Oh,
I wasn't wrapping up. But thank you for checking me. I appreciate you checking me so that we don't get off.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? We still got questions from the audience too. Like, you know, it's good. We are good. Everything is good. Okay, it's good. 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 All right. So before Tommy and Julio, this dude Tariq, the old white guy who's the mobster. I thought it to me it's stupid how he gets a couple of pieces of evidence, and I know this is another frustration that fans have had with the show. Like, how is it that this dude can make a couple of calls, put 2 and 2 together, and say, okay, I think this dude is Ghost, but the whole NYPD is trash, where they can't even figure out that Ghost is a black dude. When for the most part, everybody in the hoods, unless nobody's talking, everybody knows at least that he's a black dude. Like, you may not know who he is, but you know that there's enough people that know that he's black that someone has to roll. But this dude puts it together, and that's why I said this dude really is James St. Patrick in jail. Because dude rolls up to him, basically tells him he knows he's Ghost, and James accepts the bribe. If this was Ghost, a.k.a. Nega Earth, James Bond, Evil Bond, this dude would have been like, all right, cool, got you. Figured out why he needed the money, and basically pressed him and said, okay, you either shut up or your wife dies quicker than you thought.
Yep.
And then everybody else dies. And then you die in here. Like, that's what Ghost would do. But this dude,
hey, we don't know that he's not going to do that at some point.
We don't, but he looks shaken up. He looks broken. You gotta remember, he was broken talking to Raina about the TMZ pictures and her being in the Daily News or the Post or whatever. You know, he's shaken up. He's shaking up. Like, he's off his game. You even said it. He's off his game. But the ghost I know would have already been 2 steps ahead. The minute dude talked to him, he would have been like, let me get back to you or something like that.
Well,
and
I
then
think
figured it
Tommy
out.
is going to relay some information because remember, old dude said only Tommy can deliver the money. Tommy's probably going to. If you remember the previews for the season, we do know that Tommy kills somebody. So
Right.
Which
isn't hard to guess because who doesn't Tommy kill, right?
He killed somebody. We didn't know he was going to kill Holly, though.
No, that's true. We didn't know that, but it's I think Tommy's had a body in every season, at least one. He's at a
I mean, that's what Tommy is. Who Tommy is, and he accepts that. He don't care.
Right. So that's what that is. But speaking of Tommy, you alluded to it before, the Tommy Julio relationship, where you could see ever since the season he's kind of felt like, I don't want to say it was animosity towards Julio, but he's starting to question him a lot more. Now Dre is adding fuel to the fire with the whole aspect of the feds and how he was in, which is true because they were looking for Julio, but Dre had been out. But he was saying that Julio was in there much longer, then coming back saying to shut down the drug game and Truth and all that. It's too hot. And Tommy being
Dre
Tommy,
can't afford that, so
right.
That's what that's about.
Right. And Tommy being Tommy, he set up the whole fake gambling thing for him to be able to get out without being tailed and for them to move that major product that they got. But I look at their relationship, and to me, it's starting to head down the same path Ghost and Rolo went down. Way back from season 1, season 2, season 2, where Kanan was telling him, yo, Rolo snitching on you. Rolo, Kanan doing what Kanan does is getting in people's ear and telling them lies in order for them to do things that he wants them to do that'll end up ruining them. And that's something that Ghost is always going to have to live with, the fact that he killed Rolo thinking that he was against him. And Rolo was probably the one person in the entire series that was him and Tommy. But even Rolo was just like, yo, I roll with you. You're my man. Like, this is what it is. Even that scene where he killed Rolo, where Rolo was like, yo, I already know what I am. You know what I am. I can't change your mind, so you got to do what you got to do. And he still killed Rolo. So that, to me, is where Tommy and Julio are going right now. I don't know how it's going to end up, but it is cascading down the path of Tommy and him having a confrontation, and maybe that is who he kills. Who knows?
Yeah, hey, remember I told you, when you asked who I wanted to add to the list, who did I say? I said Julio, because he's making too many mistakes, and it started from when, he didn't handle the, old boy like he should have. And like, you can't let somebody else step to your guys and you don't handle that. You know what I mean? So
True.
To me, even if he's, we know Julio's not a bad guy, but he is too soft. So even if he doesn't end up being the one that gets killed, he has to harden up, and I think that's going to be Tommy's job to do that. You can't be the top distributor and you letting your guys get got like that. That's not how this thing works. So, we'll see what happens, but I do think Julio needs to step up and be the distributor that Tommy was. You got to be feared and you got to be respected.
Right.
And it's not easy to get that, but you have to work your way up, and Julio's not doing what he's supposed to do. Not even close.
How long you been selling drugs, Chrissy? Because you know the whole game in and out. Look at you. I mean, yo, is that mommy blog and ring a front? Is that how you launder the money through your mommy blog?
Real Elanya fixed my life on my ass. Talk about some. How long have you been doing drugs?
I just slammed my desk and said, "Not on my watch." Let me find out the mommy blog is a front. That's how you launder your money. That is crazy. All right, you want to get into these questions? Yo, and thank you everybody for sending these questions. These are some good ones. It was a lot of energy on a lot of these questions from stuff that we've said before and current. First one, crowned him king on my IG feed. Quick question: in last season, when Ghost had the book stolen from the club, when Cantos was running it after Stern took the club from him, didn't Ghost say that the camera in his office couldn't be shut off or tapes couldn't be retrieved from the club, only from his personal computer or something in that nature? I look back, like I skimmed back, and there's it's not 100%, but there is probably a small percentage that I might have missed it. But the only thing that I saw when I was skimming the past episodes was when the Iran, and we said it last week, when the Irania card was dropped, he looked at his computer to see who it was. And we don't know where that surveillance feed is coming from. And when he figured it out, the money laundering, or that not even money laundering, the fact that Stern was hiding money from his wife, he looked at the books physically and took pictures. So he didn't really have that talk with Cantos about that. And if anybody has that recollection, feel free to correct me, but I don't think that he ever made a mention of that to anybody else. Like, what's up with the cameras? So
it's funny that somebody brings up Cantos because his name was brought up in this episode as well.
Right, right.
Him wanting to testify against, against James St. Patrick. So I don't remember that scene, though. I do know that there is alternate feeds in Ghost's office. I'm just waiting for him to say, like, can y'all go check my feeds and see about the gun? Like, if you know you didn't leave the gun there, that means somebody planted it in your office, bruh. You haven't thought, that's another thing that bothers me. Wouldn't your first thought be, go check the cameras?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be you? Like, that has been bothering me since that happened. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So if he does have alternate cameras, at what point is he going to realize he has them? Seriously.
It's like one of those where maybe next week when they're talking about it, he'll be like, "Oh shit, I have cameras in my office. You should check that because then we'll know who the hell put the put the gun there." But yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. They said that he wanted. Cantos being Cantos said, "I have information, but I want immunity to give up Ghost." And I think it's more so on the insurance and the other stuff that was going on. And they kind of looked at him like, all right, if we need to. But I wouldn't be surprised if Cantos showed up at some point to testify against Ghost. But he also has other stuff. And yeah, shout out to you, Chrissy, for reminding me of how Proctor and Ghost originally hooked up, where he knew that he had that drug habit and he was the one supplying the drugs. So it was like, yo, I'll keep your shit on the low and we'll continue to supply you if you help me. So that is where they're
busted up in that office,
right? Yeah. So so good looking on that question. Also on IG from Detective Kanan, is the gun used to kill Knox government issued, like how the gun was with Angela when Tariq got caught? So much going on. That's real. That's a great question. They never mentioned it when they recovered the weapon. Knowing that it was Sandoval and Sandoval was going there for Knox, I don't think he would be stupid enough to use a government-issued gun to kill Knox, knowing that it could be tracked back.
Gun out of like the government like locker or something,
right?
You know, like how they have a bunch of stuff that's sitting in. I can't remember the formal name of it, but it's where they put all the evidence or whatever. He probably took like an evidence gun.
The evidence locker.
Yeah, evidence. Okay, bitch.
No, I wasn't even trying to be smart. I was just saying it. Yo, relax.
You call me a drug dealer, yo. Like,
you know a lot of stuff. You are highly knowledgeable. Unless you're reading novels and shit, or you be watching like ID Network and whatnot. I don't know.
Thank you.
I don't. Okay, that my case. It is resting. All right. You're a mess. Shout out, but thank you for that question. That is a good question. If it ends up being government issued, the only way he could finesse that is to say that Ghost stole it from somewhere. But I think with all the illegal activity he was doing with Lobos, it probably would have behooved him to be using off the books guns. So, but that's a good question. It's something I didn't think of. Shout out to Sarah, Miss Sarafina on Twitter. Question that she had. Just catching up on the podcast, and we saw the baby last season when Tasha dropped her off at Angela's crib with toys and shit. I forgot about that, actually.
That's so true.
But she has one episode a season, so it's hard to forget that. But I'm I'm glad that was brought up because when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. She was there because she dropped off the baby, and Angela was like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, that's true. She looked baby. So shook. Oh,
right,
no.
right. So thank you for that point of clarification. Let's see, Midtown Mo. What happens first? And it's part of my I have a power group chat like probably everybody else on this earth, and there's a bunch of questions that I tell them to send me so I can read on. For when we're asking questions, I jot them down. What happens first? Ghost gets out of jail, or someone figures out who Tariq's friend is. What do you think, Chrissy?
Ooh, that is a great ass question. I am going to say that Ghost gets out of jail.
I really don't.
That's
I really don't know.
Question though, my God, that's hard. Because I mean, it could be the shit. It could be either one. Can I take a
Are you gonna cop the fifth?
Like, scratch. Like I don't know. Both of them.
No, if you say what, there ain't no money on this. Like, what are you scared for?
It's just it could go either way. You could get Ghost. To me, here's my thing. Somebody could find out it's Kanan. Ghost finds out on the inside. Gets out. I think either way, Ghost will get out, but gets out and does what he has to do to finish Kanan off finally. Or Ghost gets out first, realizes Tariq is up to some shit, starts surveillance on him, and sees him with Kanan. I mean,
I wouldn't be
surprised. He's gonna follow Tariq. That's what I know is gonna happen.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at the same time.
Okay.
Like he's getting out, and all of a sudden somebody realizes it. I do think though that I think he'll get out of jail, and then it'll happen. I think he'll get out of jail first, but I wouldn't put it past them to make it happen like at the same time. All right, from Sean, his comment. Angela Valdez absolutely is Carrie Matheson from Homeland. So many similarities. Both are Leos who dated the enemy, make questionable decisions, bend the rules, but are good at their job, so you keep them around. They're a liability and an asset at the same damn time.
Hey, man, that's accurate as fuck.
Right. Someone who was watching Homeland during the Brody years, that's spot on.
Making all kinds of wrong decisions.
Because I don't know how she was able to keep her job after a lot of that stuff that was going on. But clearly they're like in season 6 or 7, so she figured it out.
she got hers. Well, she left for a while too. So
right.
I mean, she lost her job after that. But that's not here nor there. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities, so I do see that. Somebody really is breaking down these characters, ain't they? Shit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we got people asking the questions. Dominic Woods, good looking for that, Sean. By the way, Dominic Woods, 0 to 100. What are the chances Ghost ever thinks about getting back with Angela after this is all said and done? P.S.
Man,
love the podcast. Thank you very much.
Oh, we love you too, man. Thank you. Yeah, I would kill Ghost myself. Seriously, like he better not even. In my head, telling myself he would never even think of it because he's so disgusted with how she's handled this whole situation. But you can never trust a dude and his penis, so I really don't know.
You're a mess.
Like I threw that in there.
What am I gonna say about that? I am a man. I've seen that. I've seen men be ruined by the power of vagina before, and it will happen. It will continue to happen. So, yeah, I don't think I don't know how it happens unless she saves him. Then that's the door opening itself. But after all of this, if he were to get back with him, that would go in the annals of the stupid ghost shit that he's been doing. So
he would need to get killed. Tommy would probably kill him himself.
Right.
If you want to keep it 100, if he even thought about it, Tommy would kill him because now you know she's a Fed. You know what she's capable of. So she's not going to save you again. Like there's not going to, like she will turn you in. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You can't be that stupid. And I just refuse to believe he's that dumb. I refuse.
All right, a couple of questions from Michelle on Twitter, and these last few comments have been on our Twitter at Nonstop Culture. Feel free to hit us up with any of your questions or concerns. First, I'll go with her comment. Well, I'll go with her question first. What are your thoughts about Silver being Tasha's future love interest? If they make this lawyer a love interest for Tasha, that might be my jump off moment.
No,
as
they
in,
can't do
like
that.
that would be too sensational. Like, even for power, that's when we're getting into Empire territory, to be completely honest. And not even like shitting on Empire, because we know Empire is supposed to be ridiculous. Like, that would be getting into Empire levels of ridiculous where you just shrug your shoulders and say fuck it. And for a lot of the stuff that we've seen on Power, you do that, but it's still within the GPS of possibility. This,
No,
I don't see how that would happen.
No, I don't see that happening. I do see her and Ghost going their separate ways. I see them not being together and them dating other people. He will not be one of them. He will not.
She says also, Ghost forgot to mention Angela was at Greg's house when he was there. It's huge. Read the timeline for the day and Greg's time of death. That's big. Because but that also is if you think he'll give up that he was in the apartment and why he was in the apartment. That might be the nuke. That might be him having to nuke himself and to blow up everything. That's like, if you want to watch the world burn, yeah, I was in there because I was looking for information that he was collecting on me, and Angela came through. And I remember people saying that about the last season, the season finale, and even this episode 1. She was in there. How did they not find DNA unless they just assumed, yeah, you're going to find Angela's DNA in there because she was dealing with him?
That's what they assumed. And she can use that every day of the week. Of course you're going to find my DNA. We just had sex the night before. Like,
right.
What?
If you find anything of hers in there, of course, because she's there. So yeah, I mean, I get that, but that's still big. That's still big for her to know. Because but that could also backfire on him. Because if he knows that she was in there, she knows she was looking for Greg and she couldn't find Greg, but Ghost was in there, then how do you claim that you didn't kill him? Why were you in there? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you could argue it, but evidence jury wise, it doesn't look good. But yeah, that's something that I forgot.
Ends up going to a jury. I don't think it's gonna go that far.
Yeah, the way the evidence is flying out, who knows? Tanya Adams, the phone Ghost gave Angela last season. She called it and heard the helicopter, and she still believes Ghost did it. What did she do with it? That's a good question. I don't know what she did with that phone. I know they were talking about when he looked at the evidence photos and he said there was a phone that was in there that shouldn't have been in there, because when he was in Greg's apartment, that phone wasn't there. But when they took the pictures of the evidence, the phone was there.
Right.
So what phone is that? And I don't know if that was a phone that Sandoval had or the phone that Greg had, but I don't know where that came from. She also says, keep thinking of stuff. Mock told Angie, I forgot you're the most valuable on the team. I am. Mock is about the win. Angie is collateral damage. And I think honestly, everybody but Mock is on that watch when it comes to him. Because he's somebody who's out for him, like we said before. So, you know, who knows what's gonna happen from him. From the Chai Aficionado on Twitter, critique, last scene was very forced and amateurish. And I believe he's talking about the scene with Silver and Ghost.
Oh, I don't agree at all. I thought that was the most powerful scene of the entire episode. Shit.
Yeah, I don't think it was
to me
right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't think the episode was boring, but the fact that I don't think it was forced. I think we were getting to that point, and they showed that they were getting to that point because Silver was getting annoyed with the process and why he was being believed and why Proctor had so much faith in him and why they weren't going by certain books that he's used to. He's just ready to cash the check, and wherever the chips fall, the chips fall. So that was him lashing out and saying, yo, this is what it is. This is who you are. Don't try to change. So I don't think I really agree with that. I think you can argue a lot of stuff Power does wrong, but I think that scene was executed correctly.
Yeah, I think people are too busy looking at the surface of that scene when in actuality that scene is what Ghost needed to hear, because we have all been shouting that to him for how many seasons now? Tommy spent all last season trying to tell him, you are not James St. Patrick, you are Ghost. And that guy actually used the words of James St. Patrick to tell him that, whereas Tommy was using the ghost side of things, the ghost words, and he wasn't trying to hear that. If you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So now this guy has spit to him the educational side of it. He's telling you the real, and it's the only voice that probably the Jamie side will hear. So I actually like that. Like, I took it way deeper than it was written, but that was the most powerful scene to me.
Yeah, I agree. And finally, from my guy Cousin D, anyone else realize the area in the office where that camera is the same exact spot where they're stuffing the drugs? I did. That is true. So if we're keeping
true.
those cameras rolling, if those cameras are on all the time, then they're on camera, stacking boxes with the name Truth on them of drugs and distributing them in the club. So somehow, some way, Ghost can figure out that they're dealing drugs in the club. That's a great point. I think that those are the least of his worries right now, but it's something to keep in mind if and when he gets out.
Yeah, it's good. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good eye that you have. Good job.
All right. Well, that's it for the questions. Thank you, everybody, for submitting. And as always, you can go on nonstop.culture on IG, Nonstop Culture on Twitter, Nonstop Culture on Facebook, anywhere you want. Leave us your questions. iTunes, you give us a 5-star rating. Leave us your questions there, and we'll read them on the air. We'll read them on the air. Thank you for contributing. I love the fact that everybody's watching this as intently as ours, whether you have your complaints, whether you're incredulous to some of the things that go on, you love it, you hate it. We like talking about it, so that's dope. I think that's it from me. What about you?
That's it, bro.
All right. Well, that does it for us. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being a part of the show. Nonstop Culture everywhere on social media. Nonstop Culture everywhere where you listen to podcasts. info@nonstopculture.com if you have any other questions for us, or powerah@nonstopculture.com. One of those emails, they'll come to me either way. If you have a elongated question or comment or reaction to what's going on, you can send that to us. We'll read it on air. You guys are as a part of the show as we are. So thanks once again. Enjoy episode 4. Free Ghost, or keep him, whatever you decide. And until next time, we'll catch you later.